It's a great day when you're hanging around. Nothing's ever gonna bring me down. Good times are coming our way. Whenever, wherever, whatever today.
Today is going to be a great day. I am Nikki G, your host. Welcome to the Lone Doctrine, the food for thought exploration station and your place in making today better than yesterday. We keep it short, simple, actionable, and practical. How are you today? Has anyone asked you today? I'm asking you now. How do you feel today? This month, we've been exploring the topic of self-worth. It encompasses a lot of different aspects for each of us. No one person is the same. A lot of the time when you talk about self-worth, most people will correlate the topic with self-esteem. They are very similar, but self-esteem is confidence in one's own worth, and self-worth is the sense of one's own value. Little confusing. You might be saying, didn't you just say the same thing? Sort of. In other words, your self-esteem is the measurement of your self-worth. Think of self-worth as your foundation, and the self-esteem is the confidence you have in upholding that foundation. I feel self-worth, although foundational, can also be very fragile. And it's an ongoing journey, not only to discover, but to evolve as we begin and end different chapters of our life. It's our foundation, but it's not necessarily all set in stone. Self-worth comes from the inside out. Self-love and acceptance. It's not what others think of you, but how you value yourself. When you become steady in your self-worth, your life can transform for the better. Now, self-worth isn't our ego. Our ego can play all kinds of games with our mind and our life. Self-worth is finding the acceptance within yourself of who you are, your values, your morals, and feeling deserving of happiness, health, success, and ultimately love. It's accepting your flaws, your shortcomings, and be willing to continue to grow despite those obstacles. Having a strong self-worth is beneficial in more ways than one. So, if you feel your self-worth could use a boost, or even if you feel pretty content, remember you're always on a journey that is ever evolving, and there's no better time than the present to keep in the flow of bettering one's self. So today, after that long-winded explanation of self-worth, let's explore some ways we can continue to build our self-worth, especially when times get tough. First, we need to start to get to know ourselves better. Maybe even take ourselves out for coffee. That sounds strange, but I go on solo dates all the time. Sounds sad? No, actually it's amazing. I get to be just me, just think, experience different coffee shops, and sometimes meet new people, which, all things considered, help me to get to know myself better. Another way to dive deeper into yourself is to imagine if everything in your life was taken away. Your possessions, your career, work, money, all your friends, family, accomplishments, and everything tangible or even physical. Sounds awful. But it's just a mindful exercise to realize that you're more than your surroundings, much more. If everything is gone, all you had was you, how would you feel? What would actually be of value? This may bring up a lot of what you hadn't seen, qualities you've forgotten, and sometimes the reality that you might be putting your worth or relying on your self-worth through others. This is a measurement which might take you by surprise. Now, it's great that you're here. I am so thankful. But everything we explore, everything you hear, read, as far as your personal development, only does you any good when you put it into action. The deeper you dive into exploring a mindful exercise, the more you'll discover, and even if it's hard, if it makes you sad, remember those moments can always be opportunities for betterment. When you're in a strong place with self, no matter what happens around you, to you, or what might be taken away will not affect you internally. It's not to say that it won't be hard or you won't have feelings, but you'll be in a more steady place to get through life's inevitable challenges. Having a strong sense of self doesn't mean life will all of a sudden be easy or everything will be perfect. You'll just become stronger and more resilient to get through what life may or may not have in store. That is worth working on your self-worth. You are worth and deserve a better way of life. Here's some more questions to put into action and ask yourself. A really good idea is journaling them so you can see them and keep rereading them and revising them and having those aha moments. So ask yourself this: who are you? Who are you not? How are you in the world? How do others see me? This isn't to measure your self-worth on others' opinions, but sometimes we can't see the good qualities in ourselves because we're too busy coming down on ourselves and being our worst critic. So a really good exercise is to ask someone close to you to list your top 3 qualities. In fact, ask a handful of people and you'll start to see commonalities which will reiterate those qualities in yourself. Here's another question. What brings you the most passion? What excites you and gives you fulfillment? Who you are, how you see the world, and understanding yourself the best you can will bring your true value and self-worth. Another way to look at the other side of this spectrum is ask yourself the harder questions like, where do you struggle most? Where could you improve? What fears hold you back? Where do you let yourself down? What mistakes do you tend to make, and how can you learn from those mistakes? Where in life do you feel like you let yourself down? You can then do the opposite, especially for a little pick-me-up. What are your strengths? What are you good at? What abilities, skill sets, and talents do you have? Take all of those opposites and then answer them in a more positive projection. It's very helpful to take action and to write these questions and answers down because it's then you can kind of get out of your own head and see where you stand visually speaking. So, this week, I very much encourage you to sit down with all of these steps. Rewind, go back, write the questions down, and next time we'll start to address not only how to continue to build self-worth, but also to accept yourself and all that makes you awesomely you. It is time to hold yourself accountable and make positive changes in your life. When you do this, you clear the road of complaining, blaming, judgments, or excuses. You start to take your power back to your life by trusting yourself and your ability to make the decisions necessary to keep choosing a good life. Here's a quote to leave you with for this week. Love yourself enough to take the actions required for your happiness. Enough to cut yourself loose from the drama-filled past. Enough to set a higher standard for relationships. Enough to feed your mind and body in a healthy manner. Enough to forgive yourself. Enough to move on. Love yourself. If you found value in the Lone Doctrine or if you believe in our mission, we would be so grateful for your support. We've partnered up with Patreon, a place where you as a supporter can become a patron in helping us stay on air and keep fighting the good fight. By becoming a Patreon, you make today better than yesterday. Visit patreon.com/Lone Doctrine, patreon.com/Lone Doctrine, or the link in the show notes. There's a great quote, "Be a fountain, not a drain," and we hope to be able to continue to be your fountain of food for thought. The exchange in your support not only results in good vibes, but anything and everything goes towards the betterment of our mission. Thank you so much for your consideration, and an extra thank you to our current Patreons, and we hope to see you over at patreon.com/Lone Doctrine. We hope in supporting us, we can continue to support you. Thank you for tuning in, and if you liked this episode and know of someone else that may also benefit from our food for thought explorations, we'd love if you'd share this episode. It would mean the world to us if you could help get this message and our cause out to as many people as we can, because together we are better. Or if we could have a few seconds of your time, we'd love to hear your thoughts. You can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, which in turn helps us show up in the search engines so others in need can find us. I am forever grateful, and until next time, keep fighting the good fight.
It's a